When my opponent spends $1,600,000 in 1 week on television, you expect him to have some advance in the polls.
Senator Arlen Specter's take on the news that his opponent, Congressman Joe Sestak, has a lead in a Rasmussen poll. It is a tight race for the Democratic candidates for Pennsylvania's 2010 Senate race, and it's taken a dramatic turn in the past 4 months. We've been watching it. Joyce Evans spoke to both candidates tonight. Joyce?
Well, Carrie Lee, it is a race that has been heating up for months, and let's get right to the numbers. Since January, Rasmussen Reports polling has shown Sestak steadily gaining on, and now he's leading Specter. Now, Specter enjoyed a 21-point lead on January 18th, but you see Sestak jabbing away each month, with the gap closing to 11 percentage points 2 months later on March 15th. And Specter kept on going down. For the first time, this month's poll shows Sestak leading by a margin of 47 to 42, with 8% still undecided. Here's their take on what happened.
They're looking for someone they can trust and maybe believe in again, and that's what we want to offer them.
When my opponent spends $1,600,000 in 1 week on television, you expect him to have some advance in the polls.
Speaking of negative campaign ads, 35% of people polled said Specter had run a negative campaign, compared to 11% who said Sestak was negative.
In Washington, Joe Sestak voted to raise the minimum wage. But here in Pennsylvania, Sestak doesn't pay the minimum wage. Sestak actually pays many of his campaign staff less than $4 an hour.
I can count on this man. See, that's important. He's a firm ally.
But now,
a change in party will enable me to be re-elected.
Arlen Specter switched parties to save one job. His, not yours.
What's wrong with the guy wanting to keep his job? I want to keep mine so that I can bring more jobs to Pennsylvania.
He often will resort to unfair, wrong, false smear tactics.
Hot stuff, tough words. Joining us now with his take on the latest poll numbers and the final week before the primary election is Larry Seisler of PoliticsPA.com. So how does a popular veteran politician like Arlen Specter, who is the Democratic Party's pick, go down like this and has somebody leading him who's only 3 years in Congress?
Look, Joyce, a lot of people thought this was going to be a close election. Arlen Specter is built for general elections, not for primaries. When he was a Republican, he had close Republican primaries, and the same thing is happening as a Democrat. Arlen Specter is an independent centrist, and that doesn't work well in primaries. Also, people are just starting to check into this campaign, and Sestak just started his television, so it was only natural that the race would tighten.
So wait a minute, he's still got to get past the primary to get to the general election. If he doesn't make it there, it doesn't matter by November. He says he has a secret weapon. What is it?
Well, I think it's probably his ad with Barack Obama. Politics PA was actually given that ad before I came on today. So I saw the ad that's going to start tomorrow with President Obama for Arlen Specter, and it's a good ad. It's Barack Obama speaking about Arlen Specter, saying he is the real deal, that it's because of him that he got the Recovery Act passed, and then it goes on to the endorsements by all the major newspapers in Pennsylvania.
But nobody's happier right now than the Sestak camp. Still 8% undecided. Another surprising poll out today is showing Sestak has a far better chance of beating Republican Pat Toomey in the general election. Here's what the candidates have to say about that.
There's no doubt that my opponent doesn't have the strength and projection that I do.
Look, the best get out the vote you can have for the Republican side is Arlen Specter as the head of the Democratic ticket.
Larry?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, because I know that the Toomey campaign is concerned about Arlen Specter as a general election candidate. But I think what that poll shows is it shows momentum by Joe Sestak and shows it's going to be a very close election next Tuesday night.
All right, we are going to see. Still, neither man is backing down. They're ready to duke it out to the final bell. Larry Seisler, thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Thank you, Joyce.
We appreciate it. Carrie Lee?
Yeah, it's going to be a fight. All right, Joyce, thank you. Ahead tonight, a moving